I'm excited to introduce this next I say young lady, she's a beautiful young lady, Dupé Aleru, and I hope I'm pronouncing your last name correctly, ma'am. She's the founder and CEO of Davi Creative, a creative agency that creates, produces, and distributes digital content for speakers, business professionals, and brands, from the teacher to the entrepreneur. Dupé forged her own professional path by transferring her teaching expertise and creative skills to becoming a motivational speaker and content creator. And she has she calls it the daily dose of Dupé, if I'm not mistaken. I see a little head nod from her. I think I got it right. And I actually check them out. I get to see them on LinkedIn all the time. And when I say she does it daily, she is very consistent, and that is a good thing. For 16 years, she's educated, empowered, inspired people from all walks of life embrace their most natural gifts and use them to help others. Dupé is a five-time, let's hold up all of your fingers, okay, five-time published author, and is recognized as one of the top powerhouse motivational influencers and a leading authority on curriculum development and video content creation. And I have had the honor of meeting her and partnering alongside her, and she is a fantastic speaker. I remember one event we did, everyone loved it. There was raving about her presentation. So you are in excellent hands. I'm gonna welcome Dupé. We're gonna do a little quick intro video, and you're gonna hear from her.
Awesome. Thanks, Tiana, for that amazing introduction. Right now, I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. Let me go ahead and get to the beginning. All right, so thank you all. This is so exciting to be here today. I thank Jenny and Sonia and Tiana. This is such an incredible opportunity. So as Tiana said, my name is Dupé Aleru. I am a motivational speaker and content creator. I'm also an author, an educator, but I'm really excited to be here today to teach you guys something that I have learned over the past few years as a content creator. And I truly feel as business professionals, if you're looking to build an online brand or you're looking to grow a business in a 2020 world, then this information is definitely going to be valuable for you. So the name of my presentation is Content is King, Growing Your Personal Brand Through Content Creation. So this presentation is perfect for you if you already have a following or community of people that you provide value to online. Now, if you're a business professional who is an expert in a field, this is also going to be great for you. Or if you are interested in entrepreneurship or are in the process of starting a business. So my big promise to you is that in the next 45 minutes, you are going to learn how to create great content. Now I have that acronym GREAT, and I'll be explaining that a little bit later, but I'm going to show you how you can really grow your personal brand by implementing the EEEI formula. And I will break down this formula a little bit later. But before we begin, I am just curious, and maybe we can have some participants comment in the chat. So just let me know if you create content on a daily basis. So you are providing value to an end user through any medium. Go ahead and put a 1 in the chat. And maybe Tiana can let me know how many 1s are in the chat. I just want to get a feel to know how many people is already creating content online.
Yes, so we have a 1 coming in from Susan, and so far that's all I'm seeing.
Okay.
Yep, awesome. And there's about 40 plus people on the call. So,
so probably a lot of people are new to creating content, and this is going to be perfect for you. So the next question that I wanted to ask you is, how many of you guys have heard the term content is king? You can go ahead and put a 2 in the chat if you've heard the term content is king. And Tiana, let me know if anyone has heard that term. It's a pretty popular term. Let's see how many people have heard that term before.
Yes, it looks like there's more twos coming in. So yeah, it looks like everyone's heard that term.
Okay. All right, great. Well, sometimes, we find ourselves reciting these revolutionary phrases without truly understanding where they came from. But it should be as no surprise that that term, content is king, actually came from Bill Gates's 1996 essay, Content is King. And in this distinctive essay, Gates made many predictions that are notably benefiting many companies today. And he actually stated content is where I expect much of the real money to be made on the internet, just as it was in broadcasting. And then he went on to illuminate the importance of long term winning during the television revolution. See, the companies that were expected to win long term weren't actually the companies that manufactured the televisions. They're, in fact, the companies who use the medium to provide information and entertainment. He then went on to say that the broad opportunities for most companies will involve supplying information or entertainment, and no company is too small to participate. So at this time, I kind of want you just to kind of close your eyes and envision billions of people all around the world using the internet, or millions of people all around the world using the internet. And there are people in each and every industry that use the internet looking for information. And so the goal for you as an inspiring entrepreneur or as a business professional or as a social media influencer, you want to be the person to be in the forefront of their minds, giving them the information that they're searching for. And you're able to do that by doing one thing, which is acquiring their attention. And so one of my favorite quotes is from Gary Vaynerchuk. I don't know if you guys have heard of Gary V. He is an entrepreneur. He's a great speaker. And he said that attention is the new currency. And so I want you to think about that for a second, because your consumers, which in this case is your target audience, they will pay, right? They will give you their attention for your content. But the supply and demand will be predicated on how great your content really is. Because let's face it, great content is the only content that gets attention. And that's what we're going to be learning about today. So I really want to focus in on walking you guys through a roadmap that you can create to use great content. And what you're going to do is you're going to use these EEI principles that I teach you in order to grow your personal brand, bring brand awareness to your brand, yes? And then this is also going to help you start, grow, or build your business, whether that's a brick and mortar or whether that's online. These tools are going to help you gain more visibility for your brand. So let's go ahead and break everything down. Great. What exactly does great content mean? And so I came up with the acronym GREAT because I think it's very important that every time you create content, you keep these tools in mind. Great content gets attention. It is going to grab your audience's attention, okay? Great content also resolves an issue. There's a lot of people on social media or even on the internet that are always looking to solve a problem. And you are the person that comes in and you're giving them a solution to their problem. So if you're creating great content, your content should be resolving an issue. Your content should also be entertaining and engaging. And we're going to touch base on this a little bit later, but I want you to keep in mind, or you to even think about, when you're online, when you click on a video, when you click on a post, a lot of times it's engaging, it's entertaining. Like there's a hook that allows you to stay engaged and entertained with that post, yes? Also, great content is actionable. And we're going to dive in a little bit later on what does actionable mean? What does that actually mean? Okay. And then it's also timeless, because great content, let's be honest, it can stick around for 50 and even maybe 100 years from now. And so when I teach you these tools, I really want you to not just implement them today, but in the future as well. So let's go ahead and take a look on the EEI formula, okay? So I came up with this formula. I think it's very similar to a lot of other experts. I kind of added my tweak to it, but I truly believe that great content is educational, it's entertaining, it's engaging, and it's inspirational, okay? And I know what you're probably thinking, like, Dupé, I'm going to have to incorporate all 4 of those into my videos. I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that. But I want you to think back to a lot of the content that you engage in, right? If it's educational, it means that you are learning something, right? You're on that post, you're on that video, you're on that blog post, and they're teaching you something. It's also entertaining in a way. Maybe they make you laugh. Maybe you find something about it funny or entertaining. It's also engaging. It allows you to want to like, comment, share, or even purchase a product or service. And then it's inspirational. And this is the key to content. Inspirational content, it drives the end user to take immediate action. And I'm going to break down each of these parts of the formula for you. So let's go ahead and start with educational content. Educational content provides a solution to a problem. So I want you to think back to when you were in school, or maybe some of you guys are educators, right? The way we teach, there's a certain system in the way we teach. And in order to provide a solution to a problem, you have to understand what your target audience's pain point is. You can't give someone a solution if you don't know what their problem is, right? And so 2 questions that I think that is very valuable that you should kind of ask yourself prior to creating content are these 2. What are my target audience's biggest pain points? Like, what truly do they need to solve? What is their immediate pain point? And then also, how can you help your audience solve them? If you can answer those questions, you're well on your way to creating great content. Usually that is the starting point. A lot of times we don't know what our target audience's pain point is, and we start creating and we're posting on LinkedIn and TikTok and Instagram and Facebook or even YouTube, and we're wondering why our engagement is low. And a lot of times it has to do with this. You're not hitting your target audience's pain point. So I want you to kind of take a few steps back and ask yourself this question. Now, you don't want to guess either. And so if you don't know your target audience's pain point, do some research. The best way to do research, it's right in front of you. If you scroll on some of your posts, you'll see comments. If you go in your DMs, people will ask you questions, right? Or if you get a high engaging post, that's a sign that that relates to your audience. And so you always want to keep track, whether you do a poll on Facebook or LinkedIn, you can give a poll, you can send an email out to your list and ask them questions and they will respond. You want to track those pain points because those are going to be content that you can create in the future. All right. And Tiana, stop me if people have questions. I don't mind answering questions if people have questions throughout the presentation.
Yes, none coming through, but I'll just do a quick reminder that you can post questions in the Q&A, preferably,
Okay.
just so that I can find an easy place to get them. But you're good. I'll pop in if I need to.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So educational content, once you understand the pain point, you'll notice in my diagram that I created, the pain point is right in the middle because that is the core to your content. Once you understand the pain point, you can go ahead and create a topic. Your topic is going to tie into that pain point. So let's say that you are a, fitness coach, and you understand that your target audience wants to get fit. They want to lose weight. Then you can create a topic that says, here are 5 tips to start your morning off great, right? It ties into their pain point. They're going to be engaged because this is something that they want to change in their life. And so once you come up with a topic, the next part is you're going to figure out the content type. This is probably one of the most important aspects to creating content, and I think it gets overlooked. And let me explain why. Each person has a strength in how they deliver content. Not everyone feels comfortable on video. Not everyone feels comfortable on audio. Someone like Tiana, she has her podcast. She's great on video. She is multifaceted, right? I'm comfortable being on video or on audio too, but I know people who are like, I'm not a video person. I'm not comfortable being in front of the camera. Then you have to understand what your content type is. And your audience has to connect to that because let's be honest, people learn differently. We call this the VAC learning styles. We have our visual learners, we have our auditory learners, and then we have our kinesthetic learners. And so once you understand how you feel comfortable or how you want to deliver that information, then you can build your content around that, all right? And so you have to figure out if you're going to be doing videos. Great video platforms are Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. Maybe you just want to do podcasts, or maybe you just enjoy going live, or you enjoy writing long form or short form posts like on LinkedIn. And so figure that out prior to you creating content. Once you have that figured out, then the next step with educational content would be the title. And this is another place that it gets overlooked. And I have to be honest, sometimes I'm in a rush and I don't put as much effort into my title. But your title is key, because that is your clickbait. A lot of times people look at their title to see if there's a connection there. And if there's a connection, they're going to click on it. What you want to do is you want to get them to your content first. All right. And if your title is not a great, catchy title, guess what? You're not going to get people clicking on your content. All right. And I think Tiana, actually, you probably told me about this tool. And correct me if I'm wrong, title/generator.com.
Yes.
Were you the one that told me about
that
tool?
Love it.
Since. I love it. We did an event, and I think Tiana sent me that resource, and I've been using it since, and I've been telling other people about it. And it helps not only for presentations like this, you add in keywords, but it also helps for content creators as well. And so if you're kind of stuck on a title, you can go to title/generator.com, put in a few keywords. Sometimes the titles are not exactly what you want, but you can kind of pick and choose words from those titles and make it your own. And it's a great starting base for you. The next step is a step-by-step process. And so all of us are educators or we're students, and we kind of understand that, you know, in order for you to get someone to go to point A to point B, you have to show them. And the best analogy that I can come up with is, I want you to picture, this might sound silly, but just stay with me, okay? I want you to picture a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, okay? There are 3 parts to the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You have your 2 slices of bread, and then in the middle, you have your peanut butter and jelly. And so your first slice of bread, we're going to call this point A. This is the desired goal. This is where your audience wants to be, okay? But then there is point B, the middle of your sandwich. This is where the peanut butter and jelly is. This is where your audience is stuck, because we all know peanut butter and jelly is sticky, right? It weighs you down. This is where they're stuck. And then here comes point C, which is your last slice of bread. That is the solution, okay? And so if you've ever squished a peanut butter and jelly sandwich together, what happens? If you guys are thinking the middle kind of oozes out of the side, that's exactly what we want to happen. We want our solution. We want to squish it to where they're stuck at and meet them to the desired goal, which is the other slice of bread, okay? So we're eliminating where they're stuck at, and we meet them at the desired goal. And so that's what your solution gives them. And so I want you to always think about that analogy when you're creating educational content. How are you going to get them from point A to point B? And the last step of educational content is just credibility. Listen, there's so much information on the internet, and there's a lot of regurgitated information. Yes, we can all agree with that. You want to ensure that your audience understands that you're a credible source. And so it doesn't hurt to state your background. So if you're a trainer, if you're a coach, let them know your certifications, let them know your years of experience in health and wellness and nutrition. And I think that's just a great way to start, especially when you go live. Every day I go live on TikTok, and I have over 100,000 followers on that platform. I still introduce myself every single day. There are new people joining your community every day. And so you never want to assume that people know who you are. And so just a little introduction, like, hi, you guys, my name is Dupé Aleru. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm also a content creator, educator, and author. And I'm here today. And then you can just go into that. That way they understand, oh, okay, let me sit here and listen now. Okay, you have their attention. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to our second pillar of our EEI formula, which is entertaining content. So entertaining content hooks your audience immediately. And so I know I mentioned TikTok. I want you guys to I don't know, let's do another poll. Let's see how many people actually use TikTok. Tiana, let me know how many ones are coming in. Go ahead and put a 1 in the chat if you are on TikTok, or if you've seen a TikTok video.
Okay, so 2-part question. So you can do a 1 comma, whatever the next letter is, or something comma to separate it. So someone said, what is TikTok? So there's her answer. So there's a lot of ones coming in. Okay, if you
Okay.
don't have a TikTok, have you heard of it?
Right. That's a great question. And it's, and it's funny again, see, this is why it's important to like ask these questions, because you can't assume that people know, right? TikTok is a social media platform, and it's actually one of the top platforms right now. It became very popular during COVID. So in March, April, when everything shut down in the world, that was one of the apps that just kind of grew, and everyone was using it, from celebrities to the Gen Z to, every generation, millennials, like baby boomers. I mean, it's just an amazing platform that started off as a dancing app. And now it's a platform that every person in every industry uses. I mean, you name it, it's just a great platform to grow your brand. And I'll talk about it a little bit later. But what I wanted to mention is it's so entertaining. That's why it's addicting. It hooks you immediately. And I'm telling you, it's better than watching a Netflix special, okay? It is so good, right? And I love my Netflix comedy specials, but TikTok is just all around such a great entertaining app. And what I want to get to is that you want your content to hook your audience, okay? And the reason why entertaining content is valuable and it's important, it's probably one of the most important in this formula, is because it evokes emotion. It evokes emotion. And so it doesn't matter if it makes you scream, shout, pull your hair, shocked, oh my gosh, what did I just watch? Laugh, cry, whatever it is, that's entertainment. And so people go for the shock factor. I know a lot of accounts where I'm like, whoa, I can never film something like that. But that is their brand. They go for the shock factor. Some other people go for the deep emotions. They want to make you feel something and cry, right? And so you have to kind of think about how you're going to pull your audience in. How are you going to hook them? And Maya Angelou, I mean, she said it best. She said, people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And so it is your job as a creator, as a business professional who is now looking to build a brand through content creation. You have to understand what makes your audience tick, what makes them, what inspires them, what frustrates them, because that is how you are going to create and build your content around that. Okay. And one of the best ways to do that is to tell a great story. When you can tell a great story, people will remember that, because let's be honest, a lot of content comes in all day long. You're not going to remember everything that you swipe or scroll through. But if you see a great story that really hits your heart, whether it's entertaining or it makes you cry or it makes you think, you're going to remember that. All right. The next content is engaging content. And before I kind of hop in that, I just want to take a moment and tell you guys that I'm going to kind of go through this again towards the end, because I know it's a lot. So just to recap, so feel free to take notes, but I definitely know that this is going to be valuable for a lot of you if you have not started to create content. So engaging content gives your audience something that they can relate to, and it keeps them coming back for more. And so you want to be able to engage your audience. You want them. And when you do that, listen, they are going to like, they are going to share, they will follow you. And more importantly, as business professionals, they are going to purchase your products and services. And I think that is key, right? That's what the goal is. People like Tiana and I, we're speakers. Our content books us for speaking engagement. And so that is the whole purpose of creating content. You want it to be engaging to where they're like, oh my gosh, this is too good. I have to share this to my Facebook group. I have to like this. I have to comment. I have to follow. I want to purchase their new online course. I want to kind of step back and give you guys some context. I think it's very important to tell you guys how creating content has truly helped me as a creator and has really built my brand online. I wasn't always creating content. I was always more behind the scenes. I started off as an entrepreneur owning a brick and mortar tutoring company. And I had that for about 10 years. And during that time, I got creative. I knew that I couldn't compete with the big companies like Sylvan and Kumon. So what did I do? I started to create content. I was creating TV shows for kids. I was creating curriculums for school districts. And one show that I created, it was called The Cookbook. And it was a health and nutritional cooking show for kids. And one of my friends at the time, well, he's still my friend, but at the time, he's still the owner. But he owns Homegrown Radio, and he's also a DJ for 92.3 Big Boys radio station. And he was like, you know what? I love this new show. Like, come on air and tell us about your new show for kids. And I did that. And when my co-host and I were on the show, she kept mentioning like, man, you speak so well. Like, you should be a motivational speaker. And this was years ago, you guys, but for some reason, Tiana's probably going to laugh. I always knew that I wanted to be a speaker, but back then I thought that speaking was something that you did like when you retired. I didn't think that it was possible for me to do now. So I was like, yeah, when I retire, like I'll do that. And they're like, no, you should do it now. And I just kind of like let it go over my head. But after the show, I remember getting a text message from her, and she said, Dupé, there's this new app called Periscope. You have to download it. I think it will help you jumpstart your speaking career. And at the time, or still now, but at the time, I was really seeking to have my own TV show. And so she said, I think this would be a great segue into having your own show. And I sort of ignored her because at the time, Snapchat was really, really like hot at the time. And I was addicted to Snapchat. And in my mind, I was like, I don't need to get addicted to another app. Like Snapchat is enough. And then she followed up. And this is the beauty of purpose, right? Sometimes it will chase you down. And I ignored her first few text messages like, it's not important. But she checked up on me again. Did you download Periscope? And finally, I'm like, let me see what she's talking about. Like, why does she keep like reaching out to me? And I downloaded the app, and sure enough, I was hooked. I was addicted. And it's funny because at that moment, I'm like, why didn't anyone tell me about this? And I'm like, wait, they did. I just didn't listen, right? And so I downloaded Periscope, and in a few short months, I grew an audience. This was back in 2015, like the beginning of 2015. And I remember going from like 0 to like 6,000 followers in like a few short months. And back then that was a lot of followers, especially on that app. It was brand new. And I got invited to Periscope Summit, which is a huge summit for all influencers and creators. And that was my first time even understanding what it meant to be a social media influencer. I was clueless. I was like, what is this? This is weird. And everyone freaking out when they see you in person. Like, it just was a new world to me, right? I was used to being an entrepreneur behind the desk, behind the scenes. And from then it was like someone asked me to speak on a panel, and it kept growing. And, I would have to admit, I got overwhelmed and I took a step back. It was fun, but it got very overwhelming because the demand, and you have an audience, and there's a responsibility that comes with that. It is a full-time job. I consider creating content every day a full-time job. But I already had a full-time job. I had a brick and mortar tutoring company, 6-figure company. I had contracts with school districts, and I just was so busy. It just was a lot. And so I think I took maybe 6 months off or so. And then when I got back to it, I started to post on Instagram. And then let's flash forward to 2020. I'm growing now. By 2018, 2019, I'm a full-time keynote motivational speaker. I am speaking on stages. I had a lot of opportunities, and this is all based on my videos. I've gotten to interview celebrities like Mario Lopez, Randy Jackson, Wesley Snipes, Colin Farrell, and just a lot of amazing hosting red carpets, things that I never envisioned me even doing, but they all came from people seeing my videos on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And then 2020 hit, and then I'm thinking this is going to be my year. I'm going to crush it this year because 2019 was incredible. And then COVID. And then when COVID hit, speaking engagements, everything is virtual. Pretty much everything got wiped out, right? And then I had to reevaluate, what did I want to focus on? Did I want to focus on a business, which is Davi, which Tiana mentioned, I own a creative agency, or do I want to focus my time building my brand? And I had to get clarity. And I decided to go with my brand. At this point, I said, if I'm going to go with my brand, I want to start fresh. And everyone was talking about TikTok. Gary Vaynerchuk was talking about TikTok for years. And I said, let me try this TikTok thing. Jumped on TikTok. It was difficult at first. I'm not going to lie, because you're seeing all these people's videos and dances, and you're trying to figure out, like, what do I create on this app? And I did all those dance videos and trends. And when you do that, what happens, and this is what I want you guys to understand if you are on TikTok, when you do all these trend videos, it's great. But you already have these influencers, these Gen Zs that have literally, like Charlie D'Amelio, she has like what, like almost 100 million followers. So you have people that already are at the top of their game doing that. And so I did that maybe for like 2 weeks, and I realized, you know what, if you're going to grow a brand, you have to just be you. I cut out all the dancing and all that stuff, and I said, let me just speak and do what I'm great at. And that's when my audience started to grow. And within 4 months, I went from 0 to over 100,000 followers. At that time, TikTok's creative team, management team, reached out and asked me to be a creative partner. And I've been a partner with TikTok ever since. And then also CBS reached out, and I was featured on the Drew Barrymore show like a month or 2 months ago, and just other opportunities that technically I can't really speak on everything right now because they're in the process, but just a lot of great things happened because I focused on the brand. And so what I want to tell you guys is, it's possible, it's doable. I get it. Not everyone's going to want to be that brand, and that's okay. If you want to build a business, whether you want to be in the front of that, like the face of it or not, you still need to be on social media. You still need people to know who you are, or you need to be on the internet. And it's the fastest and easiest way to grow a business. Okay. And so our last tier is inspirational content. And inspirational content, it really drives your audience to take immediate action. And what I mean by that is, let's think back to a time where we wanted to do something, but we weren't motivated to do it. And then we wanted to do it, and then we're like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And it's because you got sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? And so you have to kind of get to that point where you understand like how you can teach other people to get to where they want to be. And the best way to really do that is to show them that, number one, you understand what they're going through, but number two, you've helped other people achieve what they're trying to achieve. And we call that social proof. And so you're showing them, listen, I've helped customers, I've helped hundreds of people lose weight, or I've helped hundreds of people, become a speaker, or whatever it is that you do, or whatever your business does or provides a service to. That is the key to tying it into your audience. And you also want to tell them, if you don't take this step, this is what will happen. And so you want to give them an overall picture on, this is why you should take this step, and this is what will happen if you don't take this step. It's very important that you give them both sides of the coin. And last but not least is you want to give them a call to action. And so inspirational content, it drives people to want to take action. And so it's exciting when people want to take action, but we're humans. Like, we like to be told what to do. Even though we might think we don't, we do. Okay. And so you want to tell people to click on this link and download this free ebook, or click on this link and enroll in this free webinar class, or maybe sign up for my email list, or whatever it is. You want to tell them exactly what it is that you want them to do. And so that kind of wraps up the EEI formula. I know it was a lot of content, but what I hope is that there is something that sticks out. Even if you can't implement all 4 principles, it's important that you are at least aware of your target audience's pain point. You're at least aware of what medium feels comfortable to you. You know what? I'm a video person. Let me put the audio aside for a second. Let me grow my brand video-wise. Then I can do everything else, right? And you also understand exactly how to at least create content in a way towards engaging enough to where you can actually grow a brand from it. And so I'm a teacher, so I want to go ahead and check for understanding. And so I'm just curious, who can tell me, and Tiana, you can tell me who puts this in the chat, who can tell me the first principle of the EEI formula?
All right.
The first principle?
I'm waiting to see chat or responses coming in. Let's see. And back to your other question. Oh, we got education. Nice. Education. Okay.
Good, good. You guys are listening. I love it. Who can tell me what is the second principle to the EEEI formula?
And I think there's, it takes them a minute to write it in there.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
yes. Entertaining. Yep, got it. Liliana,
Got it.
Melissa, Grace. Mm-hmm.
Good, good, good. All right, tell me what the third principle is for the EEI formula.
Engaging, and they know where this is going. So I'm sure you know what's coming next. So engaging, yes.
And then the last one is what?
Yes. Got it all. Inspirational.
Awesome.
Yes.
And so I just want to let you guys know before we jump, I know I'm probably a little bit early, and I know I talk fast, so I apologize. I get super excited, as you guys can tell. So I would rather spend time answering your guys' questions. I know a lot of people have questions regarding content, so I think this is great. We can spend time diving into that. But what I want to say is that it is going to be hard. I'm not trying to paint a picture that is going to be easy. I started a few years ago. I'm finally starting to see the fruit to my labor right now. But it's going to take consistency. Creating content, Tiana will tell you, I see her post all the time. It is a full-time job, right? It's tough. And it's going to take a lot of creativity. And then also just that grit and not really comparing yourself. I think that's what discourages people very easily. They start comparing. Oh, well, their content is like this, or I have to create this way. Focus on your strengths, and I kid you not, you will be fine. And there's a quote by Bill Gates. I did a lot of Bill Gates's quotes, but he said, we will overestimate what will happen in the next 2 years and underestimate what will happen in the next 10. Do not allow yourself to get lulled into inaction, meaning that sometimes we're not looking long term. I want you guys to focus long term. Even if you do baby steps right now, it will pay off. Had I not jumped on social media back in 2015, I wouldn't be sitting in front of you guys today. And so it might take you a couple years, but it will be worth the wait. Trust me. And that is the end.
Well, I will just say that I don't think you went fast at all. I thought you explained everything really well. I thought you actually did a great job. And she did a great example with how your presentation slide, I digress, but if you ever do a pitch deck as a small business, again, you want to focus on you being the attention and not drawing so much attention with text on your slides. I thought you did that beautifully. So to your point, when you said the comparison thing, and we do have a question that came in from Grace, but I want to segue because I know personally, I have even felt overwhelmed with I got to get on Snapchat. I got to get on Twitter. I got to have a Facebook. Do you know how long it took me to have Instagram? And I think because when I finally got on, I was totally in denial. I was like, nope, not getting on it. Don't want to do it. I'm not adding another one. Not going to do it. Yeah. And then I eventually did because I was going to be a part of this group. And they're like, Tiana, you got to get on TikTok. I was like, okay. So my question is, do you recommend, Dupé, one social media platform to start, or should they choose several? And to kind of how do you go about mastering all of them, or do you choose one? What's your approach to that?
That is probably the best question, because that's probably one of the most important. That saying that says, if you try to chase two rabbits, then you catch none. It's that mentality. If you try to, and I'm guilty of this, is because I grew audiences on these platforms. I say focus on one or two, and here's why. When I was focusing on, and other influencers would tell you, when you focus on so many different platforms, you spread yourself so thin. If you can focus on one or two platforms and give your all, you'll see tremendous growth. When I was growing for those 4 months when we were quarantined in California, I literally just focused on TikTok, and guess what happens when you grow one platform? They all start to grow. And so all of a sudden I'm looking at Instagram and I'm getting all these new followers because people are coming from TikTok, follow me on Instagram, they're going to YouTube. So you'll naturally grow all your other platforms when you're able to scale one. So I say focus on one or two, but trying to juggle all 4 or 5 of them is just, you're not going to be able to grow your brand that way.
I think there was a collective sigh of relief that I just, maybe I had heard it. It was like, whew.
Right.
okay, let me take it down a notch. And I think that will set a lot of people free with just, again, taking all of the information that they've learned today and thinking about how they can use LinkedIn and what they can do with startups and hiring a team and bringing a team and how to brand themselves. It's like, again, I think that speaks to, step-by-step process. And so we have a question as we look at the beautiful illustration from Alina coming on the screen from Grace. She has a question. Can you elaborate, Dupé, on what you mean by pain points?
Yes. And so pain points is pretty much like, what problems do your audiences have? And so usually, like for me, being a motivational speaker, it can be so broad. But I have a certain audience on TikTok, and a lot of those audience members are women. And a lot of their pain points are relationship issues, or a lot of their pain points are feeling stuck. They don't understand like how to get out of a situation. And so a lot of my content, if you go on my videos, even on whether it's LinkedIn or Instagram, you'll see a pattern to my videos. And like Tiana says, daily dose with Dupé. But I started to understand, you'll start to notice the struggles that your audience is facing. And so pain points are the struggles and the problems. And then you come in and you give them content to help them solve those problems. So I hope that I explained that well.
Yes, it's and it's the thing that keeps people up at night. I know, coming from a corporate background, sometimes that was the thing we would always say, your pain point is the thing that keeps you up at night, and not in a good way. So so we have another question that came through from Melissa, and she says, how do you get over the nerves, like nervousness, the nerves of starting your first post on social media for your brand? It's a two-part question. And what steps do you take to start your first post? So how do you get over the nerves doing that first thing on, LinkedIn or Instagram for your brand?
I totally understand that. And that's a question that a lot of my coaching clients ask too. I'm shocked by the amount of people that ask me that question, and I coach them through it. And they have podcasts, they're on magazines, they're doing all kinds of stuff. And they were the shy ones. I'm like, wait, what happened? Honestly, it's like pulling off a Band-Aid. You just have to do it. It sounds simple, but it's that simple. If you're scared to go live, just go live. Just do it. And I'm telling you, when you do it again and you do it again and you do it again, you'll start to feel more comfortable. The reason why you're nervous is because you haven't done it yet. It's new and you don't know what to expect. But when you get on live or when you do a post, you'll notice like, oh, wow, it's not that bad. Like, I got through it, and you'll do it again. Even us as speakers, Tiana, I don't know if you remember your first time on stage. I feel comfortable speaking like this. But my first time on stage, it was like, oh God, everyone's looking at me. Like, it's different. And
now I get a little nervous. It's good nerves, because as soon as I hit that stage, it's like I'm on, and the nerves go away.
They do. They really do. And it's funny because like the first few words, you're kind of like dry mouth, like you can't really talk. And then once you kind of check out and you just do it, and like it's almost like you black out and you just go. But someone once told me this, and I don't remember who, probably another speaker, and they said it well. And this is to answer your question. They said, when you can get outside of yourself, when you're thinking about the value that you're providing your audience, you will not be scared or nervous. The reason why we get nervous to create content online or even to speak in front of people is because we're making it about us. How do I look? Am I going to sound funny? Am I going to make a mistake? When you make it about you, you're going to work yourself up and you're going to be nervous. When you make it about the audience, I know I have something to share so they can help them in their life, career, business. You're going to let go of those nerves. So that's the best way I can explain it.
That was a Dupé-ism. I'm going to say that because I'll give out a little Tiana-isms. But that was definitely one that it's other-centered. It's even taking the ego out of it. And I'll give you a little fun fact, not even fun fact, but I'll be vulnerable. Whenever I have to do a presentation or deliver or something, I always say and ask for humility and to humble myself to take me out of the equation every single time. And it does change the way you facilitate or engage or post or anything like that. Like I was sharing with Ryan earlier, Dupé, we were talking about posts on LinkedIn, and I say one of the things that I learned from someone else is that I focus on the company. So if I'm just did something with an organization, I will focus on the company, what they've done, and then I'll have a very small, brief one-liner that says something, we're honored to work with this company, and that's it. But it's on them. So hopefully, Melissa, that's helped. She said, here's what Melissa said. She said, I'm just going to rip off the Band-Aid. She said she's just going to pull it off.
That, Melissa.
So we're with you, Melissa.
Yes. Got this, girl.
So I know. And so you gave them some really good information, a lot of good details. I love it makes me think of EIEIO. So I don't know if I have to use acronyms and things to help me remember things. Right. And so just think of EEE, like EEEI, and to think of the O as you or something, or, like come up with some unique ways to remember, or E3I. Yeah. Something like that, anything that helps you remember it. But so much information, looked at the pain point. We talked about, you gave some good recommendations. We talked about the evoking emotion, which I think is really important as well. So people want to get a hold of you. We're putting information in the chat box, or we have it available. At this time, I want to just thank you, Dupé, for your time.
Of course.
We appreciate you having on. We're going to transition to a few additional announcements, and then we're going to wrap up. I truly hope that you found a nugget or two, or maybe three, that you can look at and say, hey, I'm going to apply this today, that you're going to take it step by step, that maybe you bring others along. One thing I know as an entrepreneur is that you don't do it by yourself, and you have a whole host of people, a whole family, a tribe of people, one of which is El Camino, because they offer a lot of these programs, certifications, they have the courses available. And so we want to make sure that you get connected and get looped into all of the sources and resources they have for you.